mobile app authentication and authorization. Right now, the server API what we have has allowed access to all users. That means even anonymous users are able to make use of that server side API. We do not want that. We want only authenticated users to have access to certain functionality on our server. That means on client we want the user to log in. And that too we want to log in using Facebook ID or might be Oracle Google ID or Twitter ID or maybe Active Directory authentication we would like to do. So what is the procedure for implementation of this? I am going to demonstrate this using login using Facebook ID and login using Active Directory. So first, to configure the Facebook login, after logging onto the Facebook account, go to this particular URL developers.facebook.com, and here you have to create an app. I am going to create a new app. Display name, my project name, whatever is my service name which I have created in the previous demo, I'll use the same name. Let us say ET mobile app demo. So I'll give ET mobile app demo, basically easy table mobile app demo. Choose an appropriate contact email. Choose the category, let us say entertainment I use. You can use anything actually. Just type confirmation that it's not a robot. Now you have to provide certain configuration. So first go to dashboard, and here we are going to have the API's app ID and app secret. These two things are what we actually need. So go to settings, and here we should add a platform. Website we can choose, and we have to provide a URL. This URL is supposed to be our mobile app URL, which we can get it from overview here. Copy this and paste here. Also the same URL can be pasted in app domains. So app domains and the site URL, website URL, both I have pasted the same URL. Next, of course, click on save changes and save these changes. Now go to add products and Facebook login. That is what we want actually. So click on get started. And here we have to give a valid OAuth redirect URL, which we have to give it as the base URL of the website with HTTPS this time. That is mandatory. HTTPS, the mobile application URL /.auth, that is important, /.auth/login/Facebook/callback. Valid OAuth redirect URL. It should be in that format only. Again save these changes. And after this, now we'll have to again go to dashboard, app review. App review here. In app review, your app is in development and unavailable to public. Make it available. Confirm it. We are done. Now what is needed? We need two things from dashboard. We need app ID and we need app secret. These two things we have to add in our application, for which go to the application and here authentication and authorization. application service authentication, enable it. Action to take when the request is not authenticated. Yeah, we would like to log into Facebook and here configure Facebook. App ID, paste it, go and get the app secret. So my password, copy and paste the app secret. Click on OK. Now save these changes. So Facebook has been configured. Now let us try to run our client application as it is without any changes. It's the same project what we had before. Windows app, I'll make it as the startup and run. Click on we should be getting error. See, it's terminating. It's just disappearing on its own from the screen. It's terminating. Run in debug mode, you will understand what could be wrong. Press F5 to understand what is wrong. And now wait. It will show you where exactly is the error. It is not able to execute toList async. And what is the kind of error? The request could not be completed, you are not authorized. So how do we provide authentication now? How do we provide the username and password? For this, let us stop debugging. Go to the main page.xaml. Here we will add now a new button. Let us say a login button. BTN login, and obviously I would like to write code for click. BTN login underscore click. Now where is this method? It will be in the corresponding CS file, which of course I'll move it to the shared project. Now point is, what is that we should do to login? Here we are supposed to actually use the method client dot login async. It's a async method. Now to that login async we should provide mobile service authentication provider dot, right now we want to make use of Facebook. So you see there are other options also. Google, Microsoft account, Twitter and so on. So I want to use Facebook. Now what is login async going to return? Its return type is task of mobile service user object. So basically we'll have to now write mobile service user is equal to await. Now because I've used await, it should be part of async. Now what we will check here, if user is equal to null or not null. So we'll check if user is equal to null, we'll have to show a message box. Now because it is async, we cannot simply show a message box like this. So what we'll do is, here we'll declare a variable called as message and give message is equal to login successful, and you can also get user ID, which is supposed to be some unique ID, if not equal to null. And if equal to null, we'll say message is equal to login failed. Now let's see if this is working first. And here to display a message, we will need message dialog, which is in the namespace UI.popups. And to the message dialog, we should pass the message. And little complicated code. To the dialog, you have to add the command that is OK, and then say dialog.show async. So let us see what is happening by putting a breakpoint here. Now run. Error. Why? Because in the constructor we were calling bind to do's. So now that bind to do's should be removed from the constructor, which is in remove this line. We cannot write this here because we are not logged in yet, and we have to also remove from the Windows Phone project, though Windows Phone I am not updating right now. Now run once again. Login, F10, URI is not HTTP, yes. Yeah, we have to change that. The URI which we specified should be HTTP, yes. Again press debug button, login, and see, automatically we got this dialog and it's asking me to log in. So let's say I log in with my Facebook account, and the application is now asking the user, do you want to, will receive your public profile, do you want to continue? I can say yes or I can cancel. So I am saying yes. So my identity is now used here. Login successful, and we should get the else part I missed. Anyways, login successful, and then we should get the dialog box. So let us stop it. Now, what if I do not have the valid username and password? I try to log in, but I don't know the password. So what shall I do now? So I close it. Now what is happening when I close it? The window is gone. The application is terminating. So actually what happens is, when you close the window without logging in, this will not be equal to null. Let's run in debug mode and figure out. So I log in, continue, I close. An invalid operation exception is being thrown. So this we have to catch it now. So put this in try, this part, I'll move it into try. So actually speaking, now this user equal to null doesn't make sense. Just say message, if successful login, it will go to the next line. If not, I'll have the catch block, which is invalid operation exception, and this message I'll put it there. Simply login to continue. There is no login failed concept here. That's it. This looks to be perfect code. And of course, after this, I'm going to call bind to dos. Await. Actually not required. Let it just go on in background. So let me explain once again. We have mobile service user. This is the main code which is automatically going to open the dialog, the Facebook dialog. And if I close that Facebook dialog, invalid operation will be shown, invalid operation exception will be thrown, where I am putting the message as login to continue. But if you are successfully logged in, we are printing the user ID in the message box and refreshing it here. Now let's run this. I'll log in with my ID. See, this is the ID which is given to me. And now I can perform my operations. 1, 2, you can add as many as you want. Of course, the items in the database right now are not specific to the user. They are global. So even if another user logs in, he will also be able to see all these items. Now one more small thing you may want to do. Here have a variable called as success, which is by default of course false only, and that I'll change it to true here. Login success. Now what is the use of this? This login success can be used for enabling, disabling all the buttons which are there on my form. On the XAML, all these buttons and the checkbox, you can enable and disable them. So initially I'll keep all of them as disabled. Everything is disabled except the login button. This is the login button. So when I click on login button, obviously I would like to enable all of them. So txt task dot is enabled is equal to true. chk dot is enabled is equal to true. Button login dot is enabled is equal to true. Button mark first item as completed dot is enabled is equal to true. Oh, why am I putting in quotes? It's a Boolean property. Boolean delete all completed dot is equal to true. Boolean add dot is enabled is equal to true. So now if you run, it's more systematic. Everything is disabled. We log in. And of course, login should be hidden because you have already logged in. We can write dot visible is equal to false for this. You can always do that. We still have lst task dot is enabled is equal to true, and btn login dot visibility none. Rather, is enabled is equal to false, and that's it. So now we are logging in using Facebook. Now what is the other way of login? To log in, we can actually make use of Windows Active Directory authentication also. So how to enable Active Directory authentication? For this, first you'll have to log on to the classic portal. manage.windowsazure.com. Navigate to Active Directory here. I have two directories, but in your case, because you would be doing it for the first time, you find only one directory. Go to that directory. In the cloud tab, this one, you will have the option to add users, manage access, and add a user. Add a user in your organization. Give some name, user1. Remember the ID, user1.deckensofthotmail.onmicrosoft.com. This is based on your domain name actually. User first, user last, user first, user last, some name, that's it. An ordinary user, that is role only. We don't want to make the user as admin. And create. Once you create this user, you will have the username and password, which you'll have to copy and save it, because that is the identity we want to use at the time of login. Now click on OK. Like this, if you want, you can add one more user. Multiple users can be added. Right? I'm not elaborating more on Active Directory now. It's a separate topic to be discussed towards the end of our course. So now go back to the application, and what change we have to make? We don't need this success. What change we'll have to make now? So here, instead of Facebook, we will have to change it to Windows Azure Active Directory. That's the change we are making now. Now go back, and in the portal we have got the mobile app. Authentication and authorization. Here we will have Microsoft account, and that's where we have to give the client ID and client secret. Oh no, I want actually Azure Active Directory, and here use express settings. Select existing app ID or create a new app. We want to create a new app in Azure Active Directory. Click on OK. So in Azure, it is going to create a new app now. Azure Active Directory. You can actually verify. And here in applications, we should have that new app listed. Not completed yet. Oh, I have to click on save. Now come back and change the tab. Refresh is not there. Yes, refresh the page and you should get it here. So Azure Active Directory applications, your application is listed, and same thing is also connected to your mobile application here. You have enabled Azure Active Directory. Saved it also. Now go back to the application and this should work. Just press Ctrl F5. Log in. And you see, this is Azure. Give the username. What should be the username? The one which we copied. And the password. Because I am logging in for the first time, it will ask me to change the password also. Sign in. See, you need to update your password. The current password and the new password. Something. And we will be in. That's it. Rest of the operations are all same. And if you want to do based on user ID something, you have to pass this ID to the server and perform the operation. So what is the change we have done? Only from Facebook, we changed it to Windows Azure Active Directory. Likewise, you have to follow steps on creating a Google app. And once you create a Google app, and for it to be enabled, you will have to come back here and provide for Google app client ID and client secret. So in Google website, you'll have to create an app. They will provide you client ID, client secret, provide it here, and you're connected. Your application and the Google app is connected. So Google authentication can be used in your mobile application for authentication. Of course, here we are not doing authorization. It's our choice. Whether we want to authorize or not, that is our choice. Right now we are allowing all the users. And here, instead of actually having one button, we can have two buttons. In the XAML, you can have one more button, login using Facebook and login using Active Directory. Two buttons you can provide. And just that one liner is the changer. Rest all will be same. So yes, to authenticate user, the first step is come to mobile authentication authorization, enable it and provide one of the authentication provider, at least one. And after you provide the authentication provider, the basic code which we have to write is this line. This line does the trick. You don't have to do anything more than this. There is nothing complicated. Thank you.